Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So the doctors covered the story, the headline that you may have seen a few months ago about how vegans and vegetarians are more prone to depression. And I've been meaning to talk about this study and all the sensationalistic headlines that came out regarding that. However, I'm glad I waited because the doctors provided me the necessary material to show you why and how the mainstream media got this so wrong and what the study actually does and does not show.
But could banning meat from your diet bum you out? Well, according to a study conducted by the UK's Bristol University, vegetarians and vegans are almost twice as likely to suffer from depression when compared to those who eat meat.
First of all, I want to point out how little this study actually can say anything definitive about vegans. And this study is really interesting. It's actually available online for all you guys to read for free. And it covered 10,000 males who had a partner who was pregnant. Strange subject choice. But anyway, of these 10,000 males, it was drilled down to 350 who were vegan or vegetarian. And of that group, only 39 were vegans. So whatever they say here about vegans really isn't necessarily about vegans because the vast majority of that group were vegetarians.
Now, there are a lot of theories as to why. Some people are worried that if you switch to vegetarian and you're skipping important nutrients, that may increase your risk.
I thought it was interesting just because it goes to the point that not having certain vitamins and minerals can definitely impact mental health.
Really there, doctor? You're saying that this study here shows that definitely by not having certain vitamins and minerals, your mental health will be affected. Let's see.
And specifically in this study, they looked at B12 and they found that the lower levels of B12 were directly correlated with mood.
Well, if you read through the methods section of this study, you'll see that these expecting fathers were sent the Edinburgh postnatal depression scale to self-fill out and let the researchers figure out if these guys were depressed or not. In addition to that, I see that these male subjects were also sent several questionnaires in the mail asking them about like family history of depression and the like. Nowhere do I see that any blood samples were taken to measure for B12 or anything. So if you look over in the discussion section of this study, the researchers say flat out, there's no data whatsoever on serum levels of cholesterol, fatty acids, or B12. So when that doctor on the doctor says they correlated in the study low levels of B12 with depression, she's absolutely lying. And that's not too surprising because remember when Dr. Garth Davis was on the doctors, she was flat out lying there too about this study. She said, yeah, eggs are wonderful. And that study was funded by the egg industry, but she completely denied that. And Dr. Garth called her out on that.
And who funded that study?
But that was in Iran. It wasn't funded by industry.
That was an egg industry-funded study.
No,
you guys
but,
talk about
but the point is that you can cherry pick different stuff.
So why is anyone even talking about B12 when it comes to this study since no B12 levels were measured? Remember, it's all just questionnaires and surveys that these men filled out. Well, it's because in the discussion, the researchers speculated here that, because meat eaters eat more meat and have more B12, they assume that, maybe that's the reason why vegans and vegetarians may have been more depressed in this study. However, that assumption by the researchers needs to be called out because nearly 2/5 of all Americans are flirting with marginal vitamin B12 levels. 2/5, and that's far from the percentage of America that's vegan or vegetarian, meaning that B12 absorption is not a vegan or a vegetarian issue. It's an issue that faces all people.
There were some people who were joking about this study, like, oh, these vegetarians, they're depressed because they can't eat meat. But
well, it's actually stupid comments like that can get me a little depressed. I mean, we can't eat meat. No, it's we don't eat meat. Most vegetarians and vegans I know of just choose not to eat meat. It's not because we want to, but we're restraining ourselves. No, we just refuse to participate in an industry that exploits and kills 70 billion animals a year, an industry that's destroying our environment and destroying our health at the same time. It's pretty clear to see what's going on with our thinking, but yeah, hearing dumb comments like that doesn't help us.
I hope that people who choose the vegetarian lifestyle are just thinking about how to educate themselves, make sure they're still going to the doctor because just being vegetarian is not by itself healthy. I know vegetarians who eat like a whole bowl of pasta and they say, I'm a vegetarian.
Can someone comment down below and explain that comment to me? Because I just don't get it. What is wrong with eating a whole bowl of pasta? I mean, especially if it's vegan. I mean, pasta's great for you, especially if you use a whole wheat pasta, put in some, tomatoes and tomato sauce and spinach and other veggies. Could be very healthy. Is this some kind of carb fear from the doctors? They're afraid of a high carb diet? I mean,
but we do know a primarily plant-based diet is as healthy as you can get.
Finally, the first sensible thing said on this entire episode, and it comes from Dr. Stork.
A lot of people will go vegetarian or vegan for conscientious reasons.
Yes.
And people who are conscientious may be more prone to things like depression because they worry about things like, what am I doing to the environment? What am I doing? So I'm going to cut back on my meat consumption. And sometimes chicken and egg phenomena, you got to be a little careful with these studies because
yeah, that type of people, we know that it wears on your system. You're just testing those neurotransmitters.
That's right.
All 24/7.
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea what that plastic surgery doctor there is trying to say about the neurotransmitters. But back to Dr. Stork's comment there. Yeah, he's right. He's trying to find explanations as to why the study found what it found when it came to vegetarians and vegans. And yeah, vegans and vegetarians might have a different kind of mindset. Like I said, we are more concerned about the environment, about animals, about health, our own health. And that might make us depressed to see that so much of the world doesn't give a crap about stuff like this. And furthermore, seeing that doctors like these guys here are kind of apathetic to it all as well. And indeed, the study's authors say that they really have no idea which way the causation, if any, goes, meaning that people might already be depressed for whatever reasons, the reasons that Dr. Stork listed or whatever, and that might change them to prefer a vegan or vegetarian diet. Likewise, the study's authors point out that they really have no idea if changing your diet from, like, say, meat eating to vegan or vegetarian will increase depression or lower depression, or if you're missing or have lower levels of nutrients like B12 or fatty acids will make you more or less depressed. This study does not show any of that.
I had a friend who went vegetarian and literally put on 50 plus pounds. And when I dug deeper though, by getting rid of the meat, turned to things like donuts, which technically are vegetarian,
right?
But I don't think many people will say, okay, eating donuts, replacing meat with donuts is maybe the right way to go.
Finally, Dr. Stork has to throw vegetarians and vegans under the bus, saying that, oh yeah, you might replace meat with donuts. Like, I've never met a single person who's done anything of the like, and that kind of implies that, like, regular meat eaters don't eat their fair share of donuts as well. Maybe this guy already liked donuts, but no sensible person says, oh, I'm gonna go vegan or vegetarian and I'm just gonna eat a bunch of donuts now. I mean, we all know what it's all about. Whole food, plants, stuff that we talk about all the time, and keep it carb, baby. So Dr. Stark, don't make these weird straw man arguments about your friend that went vegetarian. Most people I know don't turn to donuts. They eat much better than that. So anyway, leave your questions and comments down below. Did you see this episode, or did you see these headlines in the news a few months ago? Sorry it took me so long to get to it. What did you think? And what did you think of this doctor's response to it here? Give this video a like if you like these debunking the debunkers videos. And until next time, as always, guys, keep it carved, baby. Keep it carved.